How do you start this? I never start. It's always you who starts.
You could just say, hey, Dad, welcome to LA, and welcome to our first podcast coming from
Does
LA.
this count as the start? I technically started talking first. Does that work? We're in LA. We're doing a podcast in LA.
Yes, we are. We're coming to you live from our dear friend's house who are graciously letting us use their living room to record this podcast, and I am so excited.
It's very strange you being a foot away from me.
It's more like 4 feet.
It's very strange you being in the same room as me as we're doing this podcast right now.
Well, we've been in the same room in Atlanta. This is just the first time we're in the same room in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's not for long because I'm getting ready to fly out later today.
Yep.
So we're trying to squeeze this podcast in like right in time before we go. And we got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
So maybe we should just get started.
Roll the intro music.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
So you're in LA. Mom's in LA.
Yes. And
How do you like it?
I love it here.
So you're going to move here.
Well,
I have it on record. They're moving here.
we can talk about that more later.
Okay.
Later in the podcast, and of course for the next foreseeable future, because I have a sense that topic's not going to go away.
Probably not.
But I will say I've always loved LA. I've always had friends out here, and I've always had work out here. So anytime I'm in LA, I make it a point to go see some friends and see some adventures. And so we did a lot of that this week. But it's been really cool seeing you here and seeing you grounded in a different way, showing up. There's a different vibe because you're literally running your own life here. And I kind of feel like Mom and I are like a huge intrusion. Is that accurate?
What gives you that impression?
Oh, just, I don't know, maybe a couple of reactions that I've experienced, some annoyances.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to think of like the nicest way to say it. Here, I'll use this story, okay? Mm-hmm. It was day one of my dad being here, and we were at my place, and I went into the kitchen, and I looked in the kitchen, and all my hand towels were on the floor because someone had aggressively dried their hands with it, and then it fell, and then they didn't notice, and then they walked away. And I'm not pointing fingers, but when I live by myself, stuff like that doesn't happen. And so I think it's just because I've been used to being on my own, having other people in my space. It's kind of like, oh, could you not?
You know what it's like? It's like a huge role reversal. Because when we're home, especially when you were at college and you come home for the weekends, there's this huge energy that you bring with you. And I mean, it's a disruption to the normal flow that you get used to. And I think that, that can be annoying. And also part of like love is being accepting or accommodating of the annoyances of the people you're with, and like seeing that, trying to find some amusement rather than annoyance. So do I amuse you?
You do. You spill things a lot.
You
You spill things a lot. So did Mom, though. Both of them. We're already short on water. Like, I have to go buy more water today. And both of them, like, made the exact same mistake filling up a water bottle.
It sneaks up on you. That water bottle, like just basically kind of, like, fills up super quickly. Mm-hmm. And then it just explodes. But we need more water bottles, too. And bigger glasses, I think.
Yeah. Where is my Starbucks glass?
I'd spill less if you had bigger glasses. Yeah, your Starbucks glass, your favorite Starbucks glass that you brought from Atlanta.
That I let you borrow? Mm-hmm. Day one. Where is it?
It's at the car wash. Because I was doing something super nice for you.
It was a very sweet thing. My dad took my car, and he dropped something off at the UPS store for me, and then he went and got my car cleaned, and that was so nice of him.
And you hadn't got your car cleaned since you drove across country.
I had. No. I did.
Yeah.
I vlogged it in my first, like, LA vlog with Rachel, and it was, like, an $8 car wash. We went in, and it was very confusing. Uh-huh. So it says, like, drive in, and then once it says stop, you turn off your car.
Okay.
And then it kind of moves you. And then there's 3 lights. One says, like, stop. I don't know. But one of them says go. And that's when you turn on your car and drive. And the go one the entire time looked like it was lit up. And then things stopped happening. And so we were like, are we supposed to go right now? And we debated it for a long time. And then we ended up And then we ended up just going. And when we got out of the car wash, my car looked worse than when we had gotten in.
Okay, so that's what happened.
Yeah.
Was there a big bump when you drove out? Like, was it
No.
were you still locked into the system?
No.
That's good.
But
Because that could have screwed up your car.
I still don't think we were supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it hadn't gotten done. No, this one was really good because you go through the car wash and then they kind of like finish up by hand and get the spots that the car wash automatically missed.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yep. So we're annoying you, and the other thing is like when I say role reversal, I want to say your parental instincts, your motherly instincts of taking care of us, have like been like full on, like you've been tucking me in every night.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I've been like walking you to your room, just making sure you get in okay.
Yeah.
I think it's because I've had multiple people like stay with me out here, or even when I know that when I stay places that aren't home, I tend to get really nervous about it and just I'm wondering like, okay, am I gonna have water? Like, am I gonna be adequately fed and stuff like that? And so I don't want other people to be nervous about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I also just like want to make sure people are okay. So.
And to be fair, like you typically tuck me in when we're at home anyway. Like that's the thing. I'm always the first one to sleep.
This is true. This is true.
So listen, if your parents are annoying you kids, if you are feeling some anxiety in your life in various forms and fashions, we got great news for you because there's a sponsor of this episode that can really be of benefit. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Is there something that's interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, like unexpected house guests? Well, I guess you guys are expected. And you guys aren't interfering with my happiness. I should have used a different example. Anyways, BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. And you can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional therapy done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. And this service is available for clients worldwide.
I think an important thing to also mention is that like your life, doesn't have to be terrible to benefit from therapy.
No.
Like having someone to talk to who's licensed and trained in terms of how to really help you unlock some of your anxiety or stressful points of where you're building up tension in your life or in your modes of action, things like that. And it's awesome because you can log into your account anytime, send a message to your specific therapist, and you'll get timely, thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, so you never have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room, which is great. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great matches with therapeutic assistants so they can make it easy and free to change therapists whenever you need it. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today, so visit their website, read their testimonials, and they're posted daily.
Visit betterhelp.com/wholesome. That's better, H-E-L-P, and join the over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Before it was 1 million. Now it's 2 million.
See?
Crazy.
Thanks to our podcast.
In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. Special offer for Mags and Dad's Wholesome Chaos listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/wholesome.
And if you didn't remember that, you can always go to wholesomechaos.com. There's a sponsors link where you can see our sponsors, and those links are right there for you. So you can always go catch that up later. But do check it out. I think it could be of great benefit to your life. You've used it as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that going okay?
Yeah.
You might need another session once we leave.
Quite possibly.
You know, this trip has gone by so fast. I can't believe I'm leaving today. I've got a speech in Chicago on the way home.
And we really did have the absolute most of what we could have been doing for this trip.
And it still doesn't feel like enough. You know what I mean?
Well, because it's a short trip. But you got in late the first night. Wednesday? Was it Wednesday? Thursday.
Okay.
And Friday morning, we woke up at 4:30 in the morning so I could go drop you off for some bro golf time for 6 a.m. tea time.
Which is odd. And I knew that this was not exactly legit because Heath said our tea time's at 6. And then I looked at the actual like your app in your phone, the weather app, to find out when sunrise is. Sunrise is 6:37, so it's like we're gonna be teeing off at dark. And he's like, yeah, that's a good point. Whatever, we'll get there at like 5:45. I'm like, whatever. And so we've been looking forward to this since we met Heath and Mariah, and went to their house and like really connected. They're such great people. And he's passionate about golf, and of course was watching my TikToks with birdie ball and stuff like that, and said, next time you're in LA, I want to take you golfing. So it was important that we make that happen. And we also played with Ryan, who is just the nobodies on TikTok. He and his brother do
the theories.
Yes, it's like a TikTok podcast about theories, like for Marvel or whatever. And they've like blown up, which is great because that's like since we first met Ryan, that's all new for him and his brother. They're like really riding that out, but just such an amazing time. I mean, if there was one thing that you could have done to like really set the hook of like you want to be in LA, it might have been that, because just like 20 minutes from you, I was at this majestic golf course in the mountains with the sun rising and the mist and playing golf with these really great special guys. So
no, the crazy thing about LA is I feel like every time, exception for like the first time when I was really young and visited, every time I'd visited, I had hated the city. Partially because when you're going to LA, people really like crap on it all the time. They're like, ugh, LA, you know, the people, the traffic, the smog, like whatever. And so that had really been my mindset, and I like thoroughly didn't enjoy it. And then I had a different mindset where it was like, okay, I'm going out to LA and it's going to be good. Like I'm going to make the most of it. And when you are genuinely looking for the good in everything, you find it. Like,
absolutely.
I love this city. I love the people. Honestly, I don't mind the traffic sometimes. Actually, I take that back.
You might feel differently about that over time. I mean, like you're still in that, like I would say that pink cloud kind of phase of like just being out here, everything's new and wonderful. It's only been a couple months. Yeah,
but I still don't think it's a temporary thing, because I really do believe it's all about your mindset. Yeah,
I agree. And great people help. And Heath was so generous. Like he treated me to golf and wouldn't even let me buy my own water. And it's like, no, this is on me.
We love them.
We do.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
Big fans. But after golf...
And by the way, you didn't have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Like, yes, I would have totally let you sleep in, taken an Uber, or used your car. But Mom was coming in later, and there was that whole timing thing.
You didn't take an Uber at 4:30 in the morning?
Yeah. Not really.
No.
But thank you for doing that. Again, the motherly instincts kicked in. She's like, just come down here like 5. I'll cook you some breakfast, make you a coffee.
Yeah.
You know, she toasted me a bagel. I'm like, okay. That was the first indication that Maggie's growing up. Like, I knew you're growing up, but
remember, I washed my car.
Maggie's idea of washing the car, and it was helpful.
I did a lot.
She took wet paper towels, and went outside and just kind of smeared around some of the grease.
No. I washed off a lot of stuff, and then I like scrubbed the front of my car where a bunch of those like flowers had dried on the car.
Yeah.
And I got all of those off because my dad had made some comments about how my car looked a little bit trashy. And at first I didn't know I was going to be the one driving him. And I didn't want him to be embarrassed in front of his little golf friends that he was driving a dirty car. So I was like, I'll go outside, I'll clean Samson, it's
Very
fine.
thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Yeah. But no, it did do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the dark. It looked really good in the dark. And then when the sun came up, it looked a little more smeary. But
so after this, we went and we picked up Mom. We went in, we ate food.
We don't have to go through the whole agenda, but we did have some amazing highlights.
Santa Monica?
We wanted to do a lot of top content, and we did some TikToks and stuff, but I think we gave ourselves some grace on that.
Yeah, we were going to film a bunch of Push in the Pool videos yesterday, and we kind of just had a moment where we were like, I'm okay if we don't right now, personally. Mm-hmm. We're going to see each other again. We can do it then. And then it's like building up the anticipation even more. And it's something we can look forward to rather than it being like a check the box type thing.
It can be hard to enjoy an experience and to really be settled into that experience and also be in the mode of we're making videos, we're making content. Where's the
Yeah.
camera? How's the light? How's the audio? It's like it takes you out of the moment.
Yeah,
too.
for sure. And we had already been doing the push-up challenge. We had been working on a little bit, and we were just so physically and emotionally exhausted.
Yeah, we started that a little too late. I think we got a good take, but
We're just such
perfectionists.
we're never satisfied unless it's perfect, which is very rare.
Yeah. So Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Your mother and you and I all went down there to the pier, and the reason was you asked on Instagram for some suggestions.
Yes, all this is vlogged and will be up. It should be up, actually.
On YouTube.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm Maggie Thurman.
Yeah, we don't even know. We haven't even seen the footage yet
No,
because
I
Mom was shooting most of the footage. She was running around with the camera like crazy while we were being swept up in all these different things. Because you went there with a plan, but then the plan kind of got derailed or redirected.
Yeah, so we got there, and the whole idea was I'd put on my Instagram story, my parents are in town, let me know different things that you guys want us to do. And a lot of people said Santa Monica, and I like Santa Monica a lot.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite beaches in LA. There's just so much fun stuff to do, and like the vibes are so cool. And so once we were there, I knew I wanted to do the Muscle Beach thing and the rings especially. And we decided we wanted to grab food first. So we were walking to food, and I see people. I'm like, I know them. Like, wait a second. And it was Montana Tucker, who was just talking to some people who Montana and I had talked before about like trying to get together. So that was just weird that like we were both in Santa Monica. And then it was some like magicians and like hypnotists and all TikTokers. And we were talking to one of them. He was like, oh yeah, we do a TikToker meetup every Saturday here.
And they just hang out for a couple hours and make content, go get something to eat, see movies. It's like a friend group.
Yeah,
we're like, we stumbled
whoa.
in and they recognized us and they're like, hey, are you here for this? Or are you just kind of here? And we're like, no, we're just kind of here. And
Yeah.
so we went and ate, and then we did a video with them. Like we were in one of their videos and made some connections.
Trivia. That was really fun. And then we grabbed food and we were like, okay, that was crazy. Let's go to Muscle Beach.
And you crushed it on the rings.
Thank you.
Like-
my hands are blistered and bleeding.
Well, I saw that extra like determination and obsession. You were like, I'm gonna get this. And yeah, you looked like an elite athlete going all the way down and then all the way back.
Appreciate it. You did well too.
Yeah. You had to show me up though. I just went all the way down.
Well, Mom told me to go back and you gotta follow Mom's directions. So
I tried to.
after we did that, we started walking away, and then a girl, she just I guess called after us, and she was like, are you guys from TikTok? We're like, yeah.
Well,
we
before
are.
that, you had pointed out that little group of people that were talking.
Oh yeah.
And you said, you see that guy right there? He's like a famous photographer.
Yeah, it was Jordan Matter.
Right? Jordan Matter, who I didn't know, but I'd seen some of his work on
He's
TikTok.
the guy on, this may not help you, but for people listening, if you don't know the name, he's the guy on YouTube who does those like 15-minute photo challenge type things where they'll be like in the New York subway and he'll be with ballerinas and they'll go and just have 15 minutes to get a bunch of really cool photos.
Right.
And so I recognized him. I didn't really say anything, but the girl who called after us was in that group. Would you like to?
Yeah, well, and she recognized you. She said, hey, I follow you on TikTok, Maggie. I love your account and your dad and the stuff you do together. And so we thought that they were in maybe one of those like hurry up challenge things. Turns out they were kind of
They
like
were not.
hanging out. They were like waiting for the light, waiting for the ideas to develop, waiting to figure. And it was a whole group of cirque artists, ballerinas, or ballet dancers with Ashley and Richard, who've worked with Jordan before, and just these really cool people who are like our kind of people.
Yeah.
And so we start talking to them, and Jordan turns around and he's like, you guys want to be a part of this? Like, do you have anywhere to go? And so you found yourself like in this mode of like, let's do a photo shoot.
Yeah, so we did some TikToks with the girls while we were waiting for some stuff. Just kind of got to know them. That was really cool. And then we did a little TikTok and picture with Jordan Matter, which was really cool. And
Yep. And
God,
we
just
were
so
like, what are we going to
random.
do? Fortunately, Maggie had a unicycle and a set of juggling clubs in her car.
I have a fun car.
Yeah.
I pride myself on it may
High
not
five
always
on
be
that.
a clean car.
Because I'm a firm believer that your car is your toy box and you have to like always have stuff with you because you never know where you're going to be
Yeah,
or who
I
you're going to meet.
have a unicycle, skateboards, juggling clubs, football, pickleball, badminton,
That's my girl. Absolutely.
So yeah.
So mom comes back, and so we had two different ideas. One was like, you could be on my shoulders while I'm riding the unicycle was one idea, and then another was juggling clubs. But we didn't have enough air in the tire, and you didn't have a pump in your car. So I was like, I'm going to ride this unicycle to go get the air filled up. And so I start riding, and I get down to the first bike place, and they're just closed. She's locking up. She's like, sorry, can't help you out. I said, well, where could I go? She said, well, if you ride down the pier, there's another bike station there that rents, and I think they're open a little later. And so, it's Saturday afternoon. It's a gorgeous day. It's so beautiful. The birds are flying around, and there's people everywhere. And so I'm riding the unicycle, just literally up the bridges and around the people and zipping through crowds and stuff like that. And I get up to the bike shop, and I ride back. And so that whole thing took maybe 20 minutes. But as I'm riding through these crowds, Maggie, it was like this incredible flashback to my teenage years, my childhood, because that's what I used to do. I used to perform at parties and doing walk around entertainment, unicycling through crowds of people. And it's so fun. Like, it's the best thing because people may or may not see you coming and they don't know what to do. They don't realize how maneuverable you are. And so I was just having a blast,
That's so fun.
zipping through crowds.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing the shot, which wasn't the unicycle. You were actually on my shoulders.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like
Good job.
I feel like I have to address what just happened. It has been brought to my attention that sometimes I yawn during the podcast, and it makes me look like I'm not interested in what's going on, which is not true. I just yawn sometimes, and so
You're an evening person. I'm a morning person.
it's not even that. I just yawn all the time. I don't know why. It's fun.
Recreational yawning.
But yeah, twice. It happened earlier. You can hear us just laugh randomly. I've started to yawn and just
She's
tried
suppressing yawns and making very strange faces.
I'm doing my best, okay?
I think you're doing great.
Thank you. What were we talking about?
We were talking about before the yawning? You mean before the yawning?
Yeah, mid-yawn.
Let's just finish up the Jordan Matters story.
Yeah.
And Santa Monica story. So
You were riding back.
I was riding back, and then we did the shoulder thing. We're like, yeah, we got that. I ended up teaching somebody else how to unicycle randomly on Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with you're standing on my shoulders making a TikTok while I'm juggling clubs. And the idea is he just catches us in this moment, turns around and takes a picture, and we high five and fist bump.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The cool thing was just the whole experience of, all of that randomly happening when you never expected it. And you made a comment afterward where you said, this never happens in Atlanta, or this would never happen in Atlanta.
Which is I think that's a beautiful thing because while that was crazy and fun, it was also kind of exhausting, It's kind of you had to be on all the time, and everywhere we went, I'm sure it's not like that all the time, but our time was just kind of occupied by things that came up and people we met. So that's a huge blessing and something crazy cool that I love about LA. But on the other side, that's a nice part of Atlanta, where it's you can just kind of do your own thing, mosey around.
Well, I think there's also those opportunities in Atlanta. They're just a little different and maybe not as frequent. But Atlanta's turning into a bustling, booming film city. There's a lot of people in the arts, but it's just not the same as LA.
Yeah, but you're not going to run into 20 TikTokers in a day. But no, that was so much fun.
I mean, we ran into TikTokers at church yesterday.
Yeah.
Sitting right behind us. They're we all do TikTok too.
It was the they give you a hot second to say hi to people around you and kind of, just say good morning.
Greet your neighbor.
Yeah, and we turn around and one of the guys looks at my dad and he's like, "Are you from TikTok?" And he was like, yeah, we are, or whatever. He was like, "That's what we do. We're all TikTokers." We're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like everywhere. Everywhere.
Everybody's a TikToker. Well, not everyone, but
Practically.
yeah.
I'm doing a paper about that
and the
right
thing
now
about,
in school.
Are you really?
Yeah, I hate it.
You hate the paper or the fact that everybody's a TikToker?
The paper.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get into that after you finish this.
Because I mean, the fact that everybody can be successful, there's so much abundance on TikTok. Like a lot of people are doing really well, and I think that's a really good thing because they're all different. And what I've especially enjoyed about TikTok is the way like artists and people who maybe in the past have had a hard time finding their audience or finding the people that really appreciate their work or being able to or even selling their work and creating some great economic benefit. You see a lot of that on TikTok all the time, and that's pretty cool.
TikTok is my favorite social media because for the most part, its purpose isn't to show off. Or at least the side I'm on, like that's my For You page.
Yeah.
It's like the purpose is to laugh about stupid stuff or just smile. And it's crazy because for the most part, you're going to, on TikTok, get rewarded, I guess. Like you can receive the benefits of, okay, wait, this isn't making sense. You can get noticed without having a large platform.
Oh, that's true.
I guess is the easiest way to say it. It's like you don't need 1 million followers to get 1 million views. And I think that's really cool.
No, it's very cool. And you also, to me, it's about not just laughing, but I think that the opportunity on TikTok is to be more fully yourself. Like put yourself out there. I feel that way. Like I could present all the different nuances of my personality, not just the motivational side of what I do or the silly disc or yard golf things or whatever I'm doing. Like there's all these different aspects. My relationship with your beautiful mother and the silly stuff we did. We made a TikTok while we were here.
That deserved more.
Oh, it's fun. It's like we're proud of what we did.
Good.
But I even tell my audiences when I deliver live speeches, it's like if you really want to get to know me, follow me on TikTok. So your paper.
Honestly, I know I said I would, but I'd rather not. I don't want to talk about school. It's just about TikTok because...
Okay.
Yeah.
Is online school proving to be a drag?
It's school. I mean, it's... Yes. Long story short, yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's okay. We won't talk about that then this time, but I do want to talk about some questions. We have some listener questions. They've been amazing, and I want to at least address a couple of those here, and then... I think we were going to do like a Never Have I Ever again because that was really popular. And so we'll make sure we get that in before the end of the episode. So we read all the questions. And if you want to submit one, go out to wholesomechaos.com. Also on wholesomechaos.com, there's an amazing opportunity to download a guide of how to connect better with your family called Connecting Through Chaos. And that's available there. We're developing more of a network with our listeners and listening to more about your lives. And so please connect with us there. So the first question is about online school. So that's why I wanted to bring this one in. And this is from Charlotte Edwards, whose mom found our podcast and kind of introduced it to her, and they're listening to it together as a family. She said, I do online school and have for 2 years now. I've always had trouble with being alone, yet I'm alone all the time. Do you have suggestions on how to enjoy your time with yourself alone? I love you both, and so does my family, and listen to your podcasts religiously, LOL.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so much area for fun when you're learning to, like, be content with being by yourself. Because for the first time, you truly don't have to be worried about, like, are other people around you having a good time? Like, how can I cater this situation to benefit them more? It's all about you, and you really get to learn and decide, like, what do I like? Do I like to, like, listen to music at crazy loud volumes while I study? Like, do I like to keep the air conditioning, like, really, really cold? Do I like the air conditioning to be really hot? Like, when you're by yourself, it's only really your opinion and your preferences that matter. And I think that's really fun.
It is fun. And it's also very beneficial to a healthy life because you are your own company. Like you're the person you're going to be with for your whole life, for the rest of your life. And so developing that relationship and learning to enjoy yourself, love yourself, treat yourself well? How do you handle moments of conflict? And when you when you do the wrong thing, like how do you forgive yourself through those moments and move forward without beating yourself up? So all of these are internal conversations, right? It's all happening in your head. And sometimes in your head, you can be things can be wonderful and free. And other times you can kind of get those thought spirals, right?
Yeah, and when it comes to school, genuinely just start the assignments. You don't have to finish them right away, but just start them and get the ball rolling, and it makes it a lot easier to finish them.
That's good advice. I think I've always enjoyed being alone. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time, because I was the youngest. My sisters were both older, and so I was the last one in the house, and so I would have to be alone. I would spend a lot of time down like in our basement in Chicago. We had this special room where I would just kind of create like imaginative games and spaceships and things like that. And I would just be kind of lost in my own imagination. What was really helpful to me when I was in college, and I would suggest this to anyone who's learning about how to develop that relationship with yourself, is journaling. I made a commitment to start journaling, and I did it for years. I don't journal daily now, but it's basically taking that dialogue with yourself out of your head and putting it on paper. And it doesn't have to be like, this is what I did today, or it doesn't have to make any sense. But when you just start writing, and for me, I used legal pads and just a pen, and I developed this morning ritual of just going out, writing what was in my mind. And I found like that would evolve into some clarity about what I wanted to do, or what my list was for the day, or just some thoughts about life. And I'd start writing about my future. And like all of that came about because I just was intentional about developing that dialogue.
Yeah. No,
So-
that's awesome. I'm a big fan of journaling.
All
Okay,
right.
one more question.
Okay, this is from Chloe. Chloe asked, I was wondering if you could talk about your opinions about absent parents as the father-daughter with quite the opposite experience of us. So not the present, loving, always there dad, but the opposite. I'd love to know how you both believe that could impact someone, and if you have any advice for ending the cycle. I feel comfort in your videos knowing that a good relationship is possible, and I just very much enjoy hearing dad's thoughts on fathers and parents who choose not to be in their children's lives. Thank you for the consideration. So thank you, Chloe. I really appreciate you writing that and sharing that, and I'm sorry that that's a challenge in your life and that your dad isn't there for you in the way that you'd love him to be there for you. And I know that that's not like always the case. In fact, it's weird because putting forth our relationship, sometimes in the beginning, we were getting a lot of jealousy, and also like oh, sure, like it's easy if you have a great relationship with your dad, almost like trying to make us feel like guilty for having what we have. There's also a lot of comments about our relationship online that were like, the best dad ever, like the best dad on TikTok, whatever, best relationship ever. And if you'll notice, I never liked those comments. I never really acknowledged those because it's not about being the best. I have a belief that great dads are abundant all over the world, that there's a full planet full of amazing, wonderful dads who are far more connected and loving and kind and better than me. And I just want to be one of them. I just want to be one of the good dads. I don't want to be the best. I want to get better every single day. So for me, that's always been apparent in my life, that I always wanted to be a father and be a good father. But a lot of dads don't feel that way, or don't have that sense of awareness and responsibility, or maybe even they feel like they're deserving of that. So my advice to you would be like, you have to rewrite that story in your own mind, that whatever's going on with your dad and his decision to not be in there in your life, it's not about you. Like, it's not about anything that you did, or that any quality about you that's not pleasing to him or whatever. It's totally about him. Like, he's the one missing out. He's the one who doesn't have this awareness. Maybe in a lot of cases, he doesn't feel like deserving of that, or he never got that kind of love in his life as well. So I think that's important to just say, almost, I feel sorry for my dad that he's missing out on this. I wish I could find that in my life, but maybe I could find that same kind of thing in other places in my life, other connections with other father figures or other examples of great families. To break the cycle, you've got to create the awareness within you that you're going to do things differently when you become a parent, and then you have to develop the skills and actually the ability to do that. The other thing I'd say is if you're the dad that walked away, because you really got me thinking about your father. And, I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for missing out on what it's like to be a dad. It's never too late. You might be totally embarrassed and regretful of that experience. Maybe it was because of some limitation in your life or an addiction or just a really bad decision or whatever. There's a million reasons why people go off the rails in one way or another. But you can always rewrite that story too. You can't walk in and be the brilliant, connected, loving dad because you have to earn back that trust, but you can start building a relationship. And I think that it all starts with forgiveness, forgiving each other, forgiving yourself, and just going forward.
Nice.
Is that helpful?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I do too. I really hope that this helps people wherever they are in their lives, and keep communicating with us, keep asking questions. We try to get to them, and try to, even the ones we can't answer on the air, we'll try to reply to you directly when we can. So, never have I ever?
Never have I ever.
Okay.
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
No, you start.
You start.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, because if you start, then I'll be the one who's talking.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah.
And so, and we're only going to do one.
Yeah, one each.
One each. Okay. Never have I ever gone into my best friend's closet, best friend's mother's closet, to try on her clothes.
She doesn't know about this. We didn't try on her clothes. We looked at her jewelry and looked at her. Oh, well. I didn't try on the clothes then. I've tried on her clothes with her permission. But oh my goodness, that was so funny. That was one of my first times at this friend's house. And they were like, I want to show you something. And they just took me to their mom's closet, and it's a fancy closet. You got to put in a keypad and everything to get in. And
what?
then, to open jewelry drawers. Oh, my goodness. It's like Princess Diaries.
Did they have, the jewelry drawers that come out and rotate and present
Honestly,
different?
I was so young that it's possible. My mind has swapped reality and the Princess Diaries scene.
Were there tiaras in her closet?
I can neither confirm nor deny. But yes, I have. And I would love a closet like that someday. There was a chandelier in the closet, I believe.
That particular mom, though, is loves you and is one of your best buddies. And she's actually given you a lot of clothes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is I've tried on her clothes after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think during the fact, though.
She's got style.
Yeah, she's very cool. Big fan.
Very cool.
Okay, never have I ever skipped school without my parents knowing.
Oh, come on.
Not that they didn't find out, but at the time they didn't know. Because I feel like I skipped school sometimes, but you guys were in on it.
We were in on it.
Sorry.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes, I totally busted. I did this, and I was in elementary school. And I mean, I guess it would have been middle school. So I went to a school that was kindergarten through 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And so I was probably 7th or 8th grade. So probably middle school. And so I had a particular friend who just basically called me one morning at the house. And in our house, we didn't have cordless phones back then. It was all a kitchen phone with a big long spiral cord. And you're always connected, and you're always in your whole family's all around you, especially in the mornings. And so my mom's standing right there and everybody's around. And he said to me, you want to skip school today and go bowling? We'll go for a walk. And da-da-da-da. And he had some money or something like that. He was going to treat me to bowling. And just matter of fact, he was like, sure, why not? Yeah, that sounds good. And I hung up, and my parents asked me what it was, and I made some other excuse. And so instead of going to school that day, I went with this guy, and we started walking away. We went to the a mile down the street, down this busy Pulaski Avenue, toward where the high school was, which is right across from the bowling alley. Mm-hmm. And we went in the bowling alley, and they wouldn't let us bowl because they knew we were skipping school. They were like, "Kids, you gotta get out of here." And and then I walked back across the street. So we're like, what do we do now? Right about then, there's a car that's coming down the street in a busy street. And like from a distance, from a long way away, almost like slow motion, I make perfect eye contact with my grandparents who lived right next door to us, right? Back in Chicago. And they're waving and I'm waving and I'm smiling. And it's like, they go right by and I'm like, and my friend said, what happened? I was like, I'm totally busted. Those are my grandparents right there. I need to get going. And so I walked back to the school. He's like, okay, well, see you later. And he kept skipping. And then I went back to the school and I walked in late and I did this thing where I was totally, oh man, I was trying to make myself the hero of this story. And I told my teacher, I had this idea to skip school today. And then it was weighing on my conscience and I decided to come in. And so that's why I'm late. Please forgive me. I had a change of heart. And so meanwhile, my grandparents got home and told my mom, she said, what was Danny doing up by the high school today? We saw him out there. And so she called the school. And she called the school and said, is my son in class? And the teacher said, yes, absolutely. And I could tell you a story because he almost skipped school today, but he confessed to me that he had a change of heart and he came back in and apologized. I'm just so proud of him. And my mom went, well, he came back in because his grandparents saw him on Pulaski Avenue and he was totally busted. So you can get over that right now. And he's in trouble when he gets home.
That's so tough.
Yeah, that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. I never skipped school again, though. Not without my parents' permission.
Yeah, well, my school did this really annoying thing. Ugh, such narcs. Where if you didn't show up by 11 or something, maybe it was even 10, they would do this thing where they would call the parents and be like, hi, we just wanted to check in. How is Maggie feeling? Is she okay? Does she need prayer? Is she sick?
Yes.
Like, essentially saying like your kid's not in school.
That's
Give
exactly
us an
right.
excuse why.
Yeah.
Like, come
That's
on.
very clever, though. You got to hand it to him. That's a pretty smooth move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But you didn't skip school, so.
Podcasts are so much more fun to do when you're in LA. You shouldn't move to LA.
I never say never, which is one of your mom's mottos, right?
So mom wants to move to LA. Is what
Well,
I'm
mom's a
hearing.
screenwriter, so I think she'd move out here for the right opportunity.
What? I'm the
She
right
says thumbs up.
opportunity.
You're an opportunity, and if there was an opportunity for our family here, like that made perfect sense, like I don't rule it out. Meanwhile, we have a pretty complicated life back in Atlanta with like the office and the house and the studio and my parents, and there's a lot all in motion.
Let's
to
get 'em
untangle
all.
all of that. Yeah.
Everyone moves to LA. Can you even imagine Grandma and Grandpa in LA? Oh my gosh, Aunt Wendy in
You
LA?
land a huge
would hate it.
successful movie deal.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe several,
Yeah.
and then buy like a compound for our whole family.
Like the Kardashians.
There you go.
I'll buy a cul-de-sac. I think that I've always thought that would be so cool.
Yes.
To have a cul-de-sac.
The Thurman cul-de-sac,
Yep.
somewhere in the world,
Yeah.
possibly LA.
Definitely LA. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoy this podcast, tell people about it. Get more people to listen. Just, I don't know.
Go out to wholesomechaos.com, download that great guide for connecting through chaos, and join our family
Yep.
by giving us some tell us a little bit about yourself.
And you
Support our sponsors. Go watch on YouTube, whatever you
I was
want to
gonna
do.
say you can also support us on different platforms.
Yeah.
We have our Wholesome Chaos YouTube channel. We also each have our own YouTube channel. Instagram, TikToks, whatever. You can find us everything. We're Maggie Thurman and Dan Thurman on. So
All right.
awesome.
I don't want to leave you, Mags.
But
But I guess I will. And,
am.
and we'll get together soon, here, there, or somewhere else.
Thanksgiving.
No, before then. I love you, Maggie.
I love you, Dad.
And we love you too. See you next week.
Bye.
Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos. Mags and Dads, wholesome chaos.
Are you packed?
Almost.
Are you fed?
Yes.
How much water have you drank today?
Not enough.
Okay, well, we're going to get on all that, and then we're going to make a TikTok, and then we're going to go to lunch, and then we'll take you to the airport.
Okay, Maggie.
Okay.
Let's go.